what comedy really is it's holding up a mirror to society where we're looking and we laugh reflexively because there's recognition in that.
Yeah.
So it can actually be used as a form of communal repentance, like acknowledgement of we all do this. Comics are not priests, but they're commentators.
Right.
We're commentators. And the first rule of comedy is that the comedian is not above anybody. You know, so I laugh at myself all the time and everything. And I laugh at others because nobody's above anybody.
Yeah.
Laughing at different, groups of people is a form of acknowledgement. It's never really meant to be like offensive or punching down type of thing. But in the way of Christianity, it's actually a very interesting way of saying, hey, we all do this. This is no threat. This is not accusatory, but we all do this.
Right.
And when people get offended and they're like, hey, don't say that. I didn't make it up. I'm just holding up a mirror to all of us. And you're trying to cancel your own reflection in the mirror. I didn't make any of this up. I'm just here reporting. It's like the halftime show.
Welcome back to The Calling Code with Mina Salib, a place where we speak to and learn from people who are driven by excellence and led by faith. Today's super exciting because it's actually my first in-person show. And today I'm blessed to be joined and hosted by my brother, Dr. Christian Youssef.
Thank you for having me.
Christian, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Actually, thank you for letting me be here.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's our blessing.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I'm super excited to just get into this episode because we're going to dive into something I've personally been trying to discover and struggling with myself, which is the ability to build a personal brand that's authentic, bold, and rooted in who God created you to be. And again, my guest today, Dr. Christian Youssef, is a personal brand builder. He's a comedian. He has sharpened his purpose-driven voice, and someone who has really carved out a unique niche by shining a light on Coptic culture, faith, and identity through humor. He also happens to be an actual doctor, specializing in specifically PM&R. And in a world that constantly tries to box you into a specific corner or a specific identity and kind of waters you down, Christian had done actually quite the opposite. So we'll really unpack how he found his voice, how he transitioned into building a brand people actually connect with, how he's rooted in his Coptic heritage, and how he deals with, the risk with being publicly bold about his faith and his heritage and what that's like. And we'll obviously get into his comedy career, and maybe we'll talk about what it's like being a doctor. I don't know. It's fun, but we can think of funner things. And with that, let's get into the show. Christian, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, my man. Mina, you're my brother. I love this guy. This guy's the man. So I'm happy he's making content. Finally, long overdue.
You've actually been telling me to make content for
quite a while, and it's gonna, God willing, take off. You're the man. So the internet is lucky to have you.
Well, thanks. I'm looking to be here on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to. I always start off with the same question. Who is Dr. Christian Youssef?
That's a question. That's an interesting question. Like we're all a work in progress, right? So far, who I am is somebody that God has been very patient with, but I'm not really a model Christian. I can't call myself a model Christian, but I am the type of Christian that when we say church is a hospital, I'm one of the patients.
Same.
So I'm going to, but I do have my faith, and I'm proud of that. I'm like a regular guy, like with a family, I'm a husband and all that. I'm a physician, like you said, and I'm a comic, but I'm even evolving where I'm trying to be more of a Christian husband, a Christian physician, and a Christian comic, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not perfect at all those things, but I'm really trying to embrace that more and live up to that identity and proceed out of that. I feel like a lot of purpose and what we do proceeds out of identity. That's why I think it's a good question.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I resonate with a lot of what you said. in this kind of like this journey of just becoming a better Christian, husband and servant. I want to get a sense, why is that becoming more of a priority? Because that's interesting. Because it's interesting that that's like the first theme that you've kind of touched on.
Yeah. So, because as Christians, and it's not just exclusive to Christians, other faiths as well believe in the concept of life after death, after death from this life.
Yeah.
So we say eternal life. That's some of the jargon that we have as Christians. And so when I think about that, and I think about my faith in God and how God called us into existence, right? And it says like in the Old Testament, I think in Genesis, I'm by no means a scholar, but he created something and then said it was good. And we define in Christianity, good as pleasing to God. So he created us. It pleased him to create us. And he's the creator of this life and the afterlife.
Right.
So then I'm thinking to myself, then logically it follows, I got to kind of respond to that. I'm not created out of randomness. There was a purpose for me to be here from before I can even understand what that purpose was. And it takes, I think, the whole lifespan to figure that out. So you figure it out more and more each day.
Yeah.
I mean, I said those general things before, but I'm still even figuring out what those things mean. Christian husband, a Christian comic, a Christian physician.
Yeah.
But the one thing I know is that I didn't call myself into existence. So I have to respond to whoever it is that did call me into existence. Did they have something that they wanted from me? Am I here for a reason? I don't believe in randomness, though. I don't believe in just living randomly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm a physician, but I'm a physician that kind of I'm trying to dedicate my work as a physician to the glory of Jesus's name. And comedy did not start that way for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of weirdly did, but then comedians know, like stand-up comics, I mean, we have many of us have dark senses of humor. I share that, honestly. But at the same time, as you go through the journey of learning that trade, that skill, that craft, whatever you want to call it, that art form, you figure out, okay, how to write jokes. And then you're like, okay, now how do I point this back to the bigger purpose? If that makes sense.
Well, that was my first main question, because I've always thought a lot about this. How does Christian and comic even go together, right? Like those two things, I always think like the point of this show is to show how excellence and faith are not mutually exclusive, right? But I would love to understand how comedy and faith and faith, are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, it's a question I actually get a lot.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people think that comedy is inherently not reverent or could be offensive or against Christian principles, but it's actually not that way at all. Comedy is the most successful comedians are observational comics that say, hey, here's what we all do.
Yeah.
So you have your Seinfelds and your Sebastian Maniscalcos, and these guys what comedy really is it's holding up a mirror to society where we're looking and we laugh reflexively because there's recognition in that.
Yeah.
So it can actually be used as a form of communal repentance, like acknowledgement of we all do this. And it's a non-threatening way. Like if you go to a sermon, there was the Great Enlightenment back in the day in history where there were sermons about how everybody's going to hell and we're all
fire and brimstone.
Fire and brimstone. Yeah, exactly. And so comics are not priests, but they're commentators.
Right.
We're commentators. And the first rule of comedy is that the comedian is not above anybody. So I laugh at myself all the time. Everything. And I laugh at others because nobody's above anybody. Laughing at different, groups of people is a form of acknowledgement. It's never really meant to be like offensive or punching down type of thing. But in the way of Christianity, it's actually a very interesting way of saying, hey, we all do this. This is no threat. This is not accusatory, but we all do this.
Right.
And when people get offended and they're like, hey, don't say that. I didn't make it up. I'm just holding up a mirror to all of us. And you're trying to cancel your own reflection in the mirror. I didn't make any of this up. I'm just here reporting. It's like the halftime show. So, but, so it's a way that society, and it's newer in some regions of the world than others. America, is more of a veteran country when it comes to stand-up comedy. In other countries that are more Eastern, where there's less, what's the word? Liberty to speak freely or irreverently. It's not as tolerated, but it's becoming more. It's Saudi Arabia just had the
big
Riyadh comedy festival. So, but
I wish you were on that bill.
But the nice thing about it is that if society can get past being offended and saying, "Hey, why are you saying these bad things about us?" which the comedian never makes up on their own, then it wouldn't get a laugh. If there was no relatability or recognition of truth in it, people would be like, "This is just not. I'm not really even understanding what you're doing." But if we can get past the part where we get offended, it actually makes room for real growth. Does that make?
No, it makes perfect sense. I think comedians have a really big really big part in society. I think oftentimes they're like kind of holding down the fort for society. When society's swinging one way or the other, comedians tend to like just again hold up this mirror and be like, yo, you're crazy. You're being crazy. Stop being crazy. And it's like left, right, center. It doesn't matter. Like they will just, everything's fair game. And in a way, it's like, it kind of like brings you back to reality a little bit.
Because it's meant to be like, we're being crazy.
Right.
We're
being crazy.
We're being crazy. It's not like, you know what I mean? At least successful. And it takes time for comics to like learn that. I'm even learning that. You know, sometimes you'll do like a bit on stage or something like that, and you look back and it's very cringy for a comic to watch their own. So you're just like, I could have said that differently. But successful comedians say like, nobody's above this thing. We're all doing these wacky antics. That makes sense.
And it's cool. So I've been watching your clips, and it was so interesting to watch you go from just traditional comedy, you know, on stage in Manhattan, just normal comedian jokes, to then really like honing in on a specific niche of being a Coptic comedian. Can you just talk about like the journey of really kind of like niching down?
Sure. Actually, you're the first person to ever put me on stage. Ever. Mina was the first person to ever put me on stage in December of 2013. December 2013. That's coming on how many years now? It's 2025. So 12 years ago, this month, actually. There's a Christmas benefit at a Coptic church in Long Island. And Mina was running it. And he said, "Hey, do you want to do a little comedy spot?" And I'm like, "I would love to." So I wrote for 2 months.
Wow.
It took me 2 months to write those jokes. And I never even did an open mic, because you can't do an open mic with Coptic stuff. I can't go to the local Chinese, or like, not really Chinese, but you know, like a bar or something where they do mics and be like, "How about that St. George?"
Go to the local church.
Right. Exactly.
Can you all sit down for a second after
exactly. So it's all trial and error. And this is really trial and error now, because I got to try these jokes. What people don't really understand is that the reason comedians do the same routine over and over, like Sebastian Maniscalco, let's just say, everybody knows him. He'll go on tour all around the world doing the same hour. I got a new hour, we say, right? And but you do the same jokes every night because it's something that's funny in your head, but you write it down and then you say it on stage. And the first time you say it, people are looking at you like, "This doesn't even make any sense. I don't get it." So then you go back and you edit. And then you try it again. And then night after night, you try it again. And the bit gets stronger because you keep tweaking according to what the audience
reaction
gives you. Exactly. And so that's how a bit gets strong. And that's why it takes a long time to come up with a successful routine that kills, you know? But the Coptic thing was tougher to do that. You know, that's why
there's no training ground.
There's no, exactly. You've got benefits like the one you put me on, or you know, weddings, engagements.
Which you also did.
For a time that was what I was doing. I did a number of
also
weddings and So, but you know, I was. So then I did the New York City thing. New York City is a whole path. It's a rat race. It's a maze, and
it's freaking hard, right?
It was very hard. but that's a whole other thing. I mean, we could talk about that for a while, about how that's actually a lesson in business. Everything I learned about business, not everything, but like a big portion of what I learned about how business works was actually being a comedian in New York City. Rubbing elbows, who you know, not what you know. That exists in you can't escape that.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. So I did the whole New York City thing. And then, I mean, my poor wife, like I just like left her while I'm doing these shows, and like she would come to so many shows.
God bless her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Angel.
Yeah. But then I'm like, I can't, I'm kind of done. Like I still do gigs here and there, but not the way I was. I was in Manhattan for a while. And so now I'm kind of focusing more on just like doing shows that I want to do. I admittedly was telling jokes that were very funny, but they were not a perfect reflection of who I am or glorifying God and all of that. So, you got to go back to the drawing boards, but which is a nice thing. You know what I mean? Like that's always a nice thing of how can I reinvent myself in a way that's even better, which is another thing in business is like learning to reinvent yourself. Because the market changes, what people want changes, people get fatigued by if you play the same note in whatever your product or your service is.
Right.
And that's another thing too, like business is going online. Brick and mortars are becoming less and less and less. And, I'm not a big content creator. I'm a small content creator. But big content creators, they know this stuff in terms of like statistics. So apparently like YouTube has been around now long enough where you can do like a retrospective analysis, and even of the percentage of creators, online creators that made it big, there's like longevity studies now to see if some of them dropped off, fell off. And the ones who, from what I've seen, the ones who have fallen off, it's because they didn't know how to reinvent themselves. So there's just so much to learn about business, which is, for me, all about like business. We want to learn business because that's how you stay afloat. We're all in this silent competition of trying to make money against the person who does your same niche to the right and to the left of you.
But you're just competing for awareness, right?
You're competing for anything. If you're a plumber, then you're competing against other plumbers in your community, unless you're the only one. Right. So that's competition on its own. Or living in an expensive neighborhood. We live on Long Island. Just to live here is extremely expensive with property taxes and all that. So that's competitive. You're always trying to keep your head above water so you don't drown. So business is about survival. And it brings, like, when you start to feel like, well, this is getting a lot and I got all these new emerging problems, it kind of makes you rise to the occasion and see what you're capable of in order to find out what the next step is to survive. And then bringing that back then to what we were saying before about identity and purpose is that as Christians, we believe this life is some sort of an investment. You want to do well and thrive and be successful, but we believe, God says, set your heart on things of above. So that's the long-term investment. So that's really it. Like, I want to survive long-term, and I want to respond to what it is that I got to do and my responsibilities and my duties. And God is patient. He's allowed me to learn how to become a physician, learn how to become a comic. I'm still learning to become a husband, a good husband. And all these like earthly lessons kind of teach me more about like, oh, what is it that God wants from me? Why did he put me here before he takes me to the next life?
How scary is it to reinvent yourself? Because I think that's something that I think a lot of people, whether you're an entrepreneur in like, the way we think of it, right? You own your own business, you own your own LLC, you own your own whatever corporation, or you're, in a job and you're thinking about reinventing yourself. How scary is reinventing yourself? How scary is it to go from, Manhattan to, niching, or going back to your original niche of, I'm going to focus in on my culture, my community, and the things that I'm really passionate and I love. How scary is that transition?
It's very scary, especially there's different personality types. So some are more risk averse than others, and some walk with broader shoulders. And I'm actually a risk averse guy, but I'm also somebody who is used to being in survival mode. So I'll give an example to try to answer that, though. I'm not a money guy. Irene, my wife, understands finances way better than I do. So
thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. When we were coming up as kids, like in the 90s, the stock market obviously existed and people were making money off of it, but the outlook on it was still a little naive, where
Yeah.
people would say the lingo, the jargon, the vernacular would literally say, "Hey, do you play in the market?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it was looked at as just pure gambling.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
What they,
a few years back, I was talking to one of our friends, Ray,
Yeah.
Ray Tesla Ray.
yeah.
Right? He's great. And, I was telling him, I'm like, I feel like it's very risky, because I still had that old world mindset of the stock market. And I said, I feel like it's very risky to put my hard earned money into a market that could just go up and down. And he's like, Christian, at this point in time, or in life, in society where we are, it's riskier not to invest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's riskier not to invest than to invest. So when you say about like, is it scary to reinvent yourself? Absolutely. But everything has to be placed in the context of what's actually scarier. Reinventing yourself, taking a leap, which is uncomfortable because we like familiar places, or staying where I am, that feels comfortable for now, knowing I might go belly up.
Yeah.
If I don't take a leap to the next thing, what's coming behind me?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot about that. In a way, kind of wanted to just start this platform because I am concerned about that, not for only myself, but like for everyone, right? You have all these like social changes, you have these technological changes, you have the world completely changing, a lot of it being driven by AI. And it's like, man, we're about to go into a really weird place, and everybody's got to position themselves, reinvent themselves, and position where they will be valuable, right? Because you need to be valuable to the market for you to be able to survive in the market, right? And I think a lot about that, right? Like, how do we all position ourselves accordingly so we can kind of not only like survive in this new, but like also thrive in it, right? Like nobody just wants to
survive,
right?
Of course. You wanna thrive.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you got into like this Coptic niche. You actually have what, like 3 or 4 pages? Is that a strategy? Like, so I know there's a strategy of like pages feed on themselves, right? Or pages support other pages, and you can kind of uplift and like, I guess, win in the algorithm. Right?
Sure.
Is that the strategy, or like each of them serve a purpose, or like what?
It's more the latter. A lot of people think I'm nuts for doing what I do.
You are a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
But it really was the latter, where you said each of them serve a different purpose.
Yeah.
Because we all consume so much.
Yeah.
More than we probably should.
Yeah.
We're just going like this all the time.
Right.
And then you follow or you don't follow or whatever it is. But so I do a lot of different things. Like I just talk seriously sometimes. Sometimes I'll talk about things medical in nature. Sometimes I'll talk about Coptic culture. Sometimes I'll just do jokes, regular jokes. And I also do Coptic chanting. Yeah. Right. So I have one parent page where you could see like a little showcase of everything. And then I figure, okay, let's say you have somebody who visits your page because they saw a video that they liked, and then they see a bunch of things that they don't like. Well, I want to be able to say, okay, if you just want what you came for, I have that for you in a nice, clean format. So there's going to be Coptic people who don't care for the comedy, but they might want to review chanting with me because I'm trying to relearn that stuff. So I have a page just for that. Don't worry about the comedy. Don't worry about the medicine or the healthcare. You want to just, chant. I got a page just for you.
Well, that was interesting because like I understand the business and the doctor and like the comedy because you've been doing it for so long. But why did the chanting become such a important thing to you to be able to like actually kind of like showcase and share with the world who, if you're not Coptic, you don't understand how important chanting and deaconship is, not only just for guys, but for girls, and learning hymns in the church is just super important in the Coptic culture. And it's important to like the way we pray and the way we worship and all of that. So, but like, why did you make that such a priority?
Well, because I love that stuff since I'm a kid. Yeah. I fell away from it for the majority of my adult life.
You were like one of the best deacons.
No,
no, seriously, you were. You're always like, dude, you still don't know this? Serious? You've been here for like how long? Your dad is asked me like, you still don't know? I'm like, Chris, I'm not good at this. I'm trying.
He's far surpassed me.
I'm trying.
No, but I'm not a teacher of it. I'm a student of it. And I'm not like a muallim, which means teacher, like an official teacher. I'm just relearning this. And I said to myself, there's people out there that have the same interests. So let's share this. Let me open the door so that there could be some visibility into seeing me relearn stuff. Because I feel like there's a big interest, and that's like anything. That's kind of like a important point in business in general. It's like, is there a market for this? Is there a need for this?
Surprised by how many people are interested in
the Coptic chanting.
In the Coptic chanting.
Yes and no. What surprised me more was that actually more of my following for this is in Egypt.
No way.
Yeah, because like with the comedy stuff and the regular Coptic stuff, it's mainly America or Toronto or something like that, with some people in Egypt.
Yeah.
But the majority is actually
really
in Egypt.
So they're just out. So they're just responding to you commenting in Arabic.
Yeah, and I take it because I don't read Arabic. I put it into ChatGPT, and I'm like, what is this person saying? And then I say, give me the response that says this, and I go back, and you're like, amazing. Wow, he knows Arabic. No, I don't know.
Impressive. This guy knows everything.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's just like anything else in business is like, hey, I'm interested in this thing. Because if you're not completely, but if you have no interest in what you're doing, you're going to wipe out. Yeah. Right. So you got to have some genuine interest in, but if there's a market for it, and that means there's a need. People want it. There's a demand. Yeah. And that's what it is. You just try to find whether it's healthcare or law or entrepreneurship well, it's all entrepreneurship. Somebody's an entrepreneur somewhere. Yeah. You either own a business or you're working for a business. Right?
Absolutely.
Which all serves the people. But the point is that you want to find a white space and fill it.
It's when I saw all this, I was like, wait, I thought he was doing the doctor page. And then I saw the Coptic entertainment. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It was actually, that page was really cool because it actually got me to see a lot of other creators.
That's the point of that.
Which was really cool.
That's the point of that.
Because I knew that's why you wanted to do that. Yeah. I knew you wanted to share because you would do that on occasion, right? Like you'd go through like one day of like sharing everybody's page. Yeah. Or all these other Coptic creators. Yeah. I was like, oh, that was really cool. And actually it was kind of inspiring for the Calling Code because it was like, oh, like, that would be awesome. I would love to like speak to these people. Yeah, yeah. Right? Because there's so many people in our community that are doing really cool things, but we don't know about them. Right. So that was really cool.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I got that from the way comedy shows are run. Because comedy shows in New York City are showcases.
Yes.
So you'll do like an hour and a half show that's divided up into a bunch of 10-minute sets where different comedians come on stage and they give you a little sampler and then they get off and you're like, all right, there was this guy I liked, this person I didn't like. Yeah. So it's nice. It's a showcase. Yeah. That's the point of Coptic Entertainment. It's like an online showcase platform.
Yeah. That was cool. And then, so you have Coptic Entertainment, you have Dr. Christian, and that's more of the medical stuff.
Yeah, so that's my name, and that's my name is Christian John Youssef, and but Christian Youssef is just kind of how my patients know me. Yeah. So I go by, and a lot of comics do this; they do their first and their middle name. So yes,
you go by Christian John in comedy.
Oh, cool. Exactly. So I do have just a Christian John comedy, secular stand-up page, and then I have a Coptic comedian page, and then I have my everything parent page, which is. So please follow it. This is the plug for that. Yeah, the Dr. Christian's World. Yeah. And I don't mean it like the world is mine. I just mean like through my lens, what I'm experiencing.
Oh, we thought you hold the whole world.
Yeah. No, it's just like, this is my life through my lens. It's cool. It's odd because I'm from Staten Island. Yeah. And you know how it is.
Curtis.
Yeah, right. Curtis High School. But so like, there's all these other parts to who we are that people at work don't know, or people that we grew up with in school don't know about. They don't know anything about what it means to be Coptic and what our faith actually means to me, the Christianity part of it. You know, for a lot of people, Christianity is just part of their culture. Yeah. There are some, we call them nominal. They're nominal, meaning by name Christians. And but it's still important to them. Like there's a bunch of Catholics out there that they don't necessarily, they'll say, I don't really believe in God, but I still like to celebrate, Christmas or go to Christmas Mass or all that with my family.
Traditions are important to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's what they came up with and they want their kids. So it's like, it's just interesting. Like what it means to be a Christian person means is that there's a whole spectrum of that.
Yeah.
What it means to be Coptic too is a spectrum.
Yeah, it is.
Some people are more into the culture than the religion.
Yeah.
Actually, something interesting that I didn't know. Christianity came to Egypt. Okay. And at the time, Greek was like English. It was just ubiquitous. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And so Egyptians were converting to Christianity.
Yeah.
And Greek was used, basically. The letters were taken from the Greek language to capture the sounds that Egyptians were already making with how they were talking. So, for example, if you have the word ten osht, right? It was not originally written with the letters that we see. It was spoken. It was ancient Egyptian language. And then we say, how can we capture those sounds using Greek letters?
That's why Coptic and Greek
the same. And in fact, so many Coptic people don't even know that we speak just route Greek.
Yeah.
Just like many times the priest will speak Coptic and the congregation actually responds in Greek. So like when we say like, I'm mean, that's all Greek.
Yeah.
That's not Coptic.
Christos Anesti, all that.
Exactly. So why was I saying this? Oh, but anyway, the point is just that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm learning, so Coptic, there's the Coptic thing. And that means something very different to different people. What it means to be Coptic, what it means to be Christian means different things to different people, and so, yeah.
But I think, what's cool about your journey, because you grew up, we grew up in it. Right. And we've known each other since we were children.
Yeah.
And growing up in it, and then, just journeying through life, experiencing things, going through different things, going through struggles, going through triumphs, all this stuff. And then also like figuring out what Christianity means to you, right? Which is super interesting. And I think as we kind of get older, and, I think we're on the same wavelength as that it becomes more and more meaningful as opposed to like less. It's actually like pretty inspiring. And I think like it's interesting, like what's going on just across the board in America, especially in like churches in general, that there's like this revival happening. And I think it's inspired by people just deciding like, hey, I feel like this should matter more, right? Or I feel like there's more depth here, or I feel like there's more. And you caring more about your culture and your faith and all things that you care about more is actually pretty inspiring for other people. And like I'm speaking about it because I'm speaking about it for myself. And I think you create this like permission structure to speak about this stuff that like, oh, what are you doing on Friday? Oh, I'm hanging out with my friends. It's like, I'm just in church in a meeting.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was weird, right? Like it was weird to just be a little different and care about this stuff. And the more and more you share it openly, you create this again permission structure to allow people to be comfortable with sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thank God, the internet makes it. And also like, I think while xenophobia exists, many times we'll stop ourselves from expressing who we are. Because we're in our head about how bad something could be when it many times won't be that bad. So like if I think it's weird to talk about being Egyptian in Long Island, where it's mainly Italian, Irish, Black, whatever, Asian, not Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Even though the Middle Eastern community has a community here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be met with like, hey, don't talk about weird things. We don't know that stuff here, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Especially when it's important to you. Like when it's important to you,
people are interested.
Yeah. People are like, oh, why is that important?
Yeah, exactly. What is this?
Yeah.
First of all, they're like, what is this?
What is this?
What is this thing?
Yeah.
But it's nice. I mean, I'm thankful, some of what I do like annoys people, and I get that. That's always going to happen. If you're like doing something on a screen, everybody's going to have their opinions.
Yeah.
But I'm proud that I've never had more non-Middle Eastern Americans in my life come up to me and not even we've never spoken about what it means to be Coptic, ever. So they're not even talking with, hey, what's Coptic? They're like, hey, I see the Coptic stuff.
Yeah.
They're saying Coptic confidently because they've seen it so much.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm proud of being Coptic, but it wasn't even really my intention to just be like, hey, I'm Coptic. And it was actually more of like pointing to Christianity, to be honest. It was just supposed to be like undertones of it.
Yeah.
So that I'm not one of these people just coming out but that is the honest intent of it.
Yeah.
And then when I started seeing people, and some people take to that too. There's a lot of people that'll be like, oh, I see your faith means a lot to you. So they're seeing it's not just a culture for me specifically. There's also faith involved in it too. But it's cool to see even when non-Christians are like, hey, I'm a proud Coptic Egyptian Muslim person. Right? If there's unity in it, a lot of that annoys a lot of people. There's always gonna be rivalries. Every culture has their rivalries, right? That's we can't pretend that doesn't.
We own this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think, and a lot of people are not going to agree with me, especially if Coptic people are your audience and watching this, but I think it's an opportunity to unite, let's say, Egyptians, all Egyptians, in a way that maybe hasn't been united. We've been fractured. Why? We don't need to. And there are arguments for that too. Like, hey, no, a lot of people died for the faith. So I get the resentment on both ends of this. But I'm not going to live in the past. I'm going to look toward, at the end of the day, I got to answer to God, not to the Coptic police or the Muslim police or whatever police. That makes sense.
It's funny. Actually, I feel this sentiment when I'm on Egypt Air. So I go to Egypt like at least once a year now. And when I'm on Egypt Air, I feel that. I feel it's a weird, man, this is such a crappy airline. Yet, I feel like I'm at home, like in this seat from literally me and my sister and my brother sat on these same seats in 2003 when we were going to Egypt with my parents. And why do they still have the same coverings? And why do they still have like the same like paper? I think I left this paper here in 2003 when I first got here. And I'm just like, though, it's kind of weird. Like all these people, it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or Christian on that plane. It's like these people are your family. It's like everybody, it's like helping each other. It's like, it is this weird, man, when you're Egyptian, you can feel another Egyptian. It's interesting. And it's very different from other Middle Eastern countries. It's like, I feel when you're Egyptian. And you feel when I'm Egyptian. It's very interesting.
I wanted to just kind of, I know we're coming up on time, but I wanted to, just
take your time. I'm good.
I just wanted to kind of dig into like what's next. Where do you see this going? So like you still have a medical career. We actually didn't even talk about that at all, right? Like you spent so much time getting a degree. You're really good at it. You're focused mainly on PM&R, right? You're a PM&R doctor. Do you want to just share what if people don't know?
Sure. So PM&R stands for Physical Medicine and Rehab. And what that is I'm a physician who is a rehabilitation medicine specialist. And I personally, there's different kinds of them. You've heard of internal medicine. Right? That's doctor of the internal organs, the heart, the lungs, all that stuff. And then if you want, you can specialize from there, cardiology, pulmonology, et cetera. So I'm a rehabilitation medicine doctor. And instead of heart, lungs, all that stuff, even though there is rehab for that stuff, we do a lot of muscles and joints and nerves. And so anybody who needs some sort of functional rehabilitation, functioning meaning the way we move, the way we talk, the way we swallow, the way we take care of ourselves, then I'm the doctor for you. And so for me specifically, I work in nursing homes and I see a lot of elderly people, right? Geriatrics. And I also do short-term rehab where somebody who had an injury or a condition that may have caused them to have a decline in their physical function. Now they need rehab. I tailor the rehab and I work with physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, neuropsychologists, so that we work as a team. And I take care of the medical issues that might be going on while those therapists administer therapy. And we try to be comprehensive. But just like any other doctor, being a doctor is basically identifying a set of problems that a patient is dealing with, coming up with solutions for each of those problems. So every doctor at the end of the day has to, I mean, there are specialists who just do the same, like one thing all the time. But what it means to be a doctor in general, for me, is most important, where you just take every person and you could divide every human being up into different categories. Psychologically, how are they doing? Spiritually, how are they doing? Emotionally, right? Then you have medically, how are they doing? Are they in pain? You address that. And then functionally, can they take care of themselves, or do they need an aid? If they want to stay with their family, if let's say they have some sort of impairment, or they need care, can the family do it, or is it going to be too much for the family? Will the family get injured trying to take care of? So you just, every person, whatever problems they come, you're the doctor, so you just want to identify what the problems are correctly, right? That's where diagnosis comes in, so that you tailor your treatment correctly. And that's it. It's just problem solving. That's what being a doctor is.
And so I know a lot of doctors in my life.
Of course you do. Yeah.
My wife happens to be one. You guys spend a lot of time, building up that career and preparing yourself to be, a full-time in the field attending doctor. I'm curious, like, people spend like so many years, 12 years, I don't know, maybe even more, trying to, get into and kind of fulfill this career and like get into the place where now they're a full-fledged doctor, able to, practice on their own. And for you, like, how do you balance that, which is a very hard job, with all the things that we just talked about?
Well, I mean, obviously during medical school, I could not do that. Med school is a full-time job of studying. Right? Because you got to take your test. Med school, the experience of med school is interesting. You remember in college, finals week, how you're just really cramming. The libraries are packed. Med school is finals week every week. That was just this chronic stress. So you can't really have a job during med. Some people do. But for most medical students, they need to study full time. Then you come to residency, and it's depending on the residency that you're in. For me, it wasn't a lot of late nights. I started, I studied at Stony Brook for my residency. I was training there to become a physiatrist, physical medicine rehab doctor. And at night, I was like, all right, well, let's see if there's any open mics. So I looked them up, and I would finish work, and I'm like, oh, there's an open mic at some local bar. Let me go and try my hand. I'd already done the Egyptian thing. And I'm like, all right, now it's time to see if I can make Americans laugh. So that's what it was, is just kind of like a day job and then a evening job.
What's harder, making Americans laugh or an Egyptian laugh?
I used to think Americans, it's way harder to make Egyptians laugh, because Egyptians don't always see the intention behind a bit or something. And so they can sort of get offended a little easily, or misinterpret the intent behind it. But again, I talked about this a little earlier, where I was saying stand-up comedy is newer. Comedy itself is newer in certain regions of the world than others. Egyptians are funny people, though. Like, we have Adil Imam and the Egyptian culture.
It's a very unique humor.
That's a unique humor.
It's hilarious.
It doesn't touch on religion very much. It talks about like just Egyptian nuances and Middle Eastern and all that, but actual Coptic stuff really never saw. And I'm like, all right, let me try my hand at this to see if I can sort of. And again, the idea is
you're touching the third rail,
right? That's how it does feel sometimes. Where I'm like, what I'm saying is not inherently just presenting anything that has to do, because we're so reverent, and it's from a nice place. And also, I get it. Like, if people get mad at some of the bits, I understand, because it's like there was persecution for this thing. So they're like, why are you towing the line with something that we had to fight to preserve? In the face? But some people just don't get is that my intent is not to toe the line. It's actually to spread awareness. And to show that we're human beings. To show that it is okay not to be perfect, because there are certain things that are Christian and other things that are just cultural. Right. And sometimes we kind of don't know. It's a very blurry, like, which one is which. That might sound weird, but it's true. So, but with every culture, there's going to be imperfection.
It's okay, because they exist.
Exactly. There are going to be some things, even to our culture, which might not be popular to hear, but that sometimes our culture and our faith contradict each other.
Yeah.
They sometimes literally go head to head.
Yeah.
You know,
Judgmental aspects
is one of those. It's a very prevalent thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we have a very tall order of trying to be beacons of like light and faith and love. But at the same time, because we're an Eastern culture, where there's a lot of like honor and shame, as we were talking about before, it's that there's these reflexes of judgment.
It's interesting because, like, at least in our church, we talk a lot about, how harmful judgment is, right? The judgment of each other, right? How harmful gossip is, gossiping about, each other and different things that we're all going through. Like, so we talk about these things knowing that they happen in our community. It's just interesting. I guess, like, it's interesting that we talk about it, I guess, like, inside the church. But I think it's like the idea of like, wait, that's inside the church, but make sure they know we're perfect outside of it.
And it's like, why are we holding ourselves to that? We have to be perfect. Like, I do think that there is some confusion as to, and this is not now just a Coptic thing or an Egyptian thing or anything like that. When we were talking about faith and identity as a Christian, I think there is a lot of misconception as to what it means to be a Christian. We're called, like, for example, the Apostle Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. So we're called to live in a Christ-like way as Christians. But there's a simultaneous acknowledgement that we're broken. That's why we need a redeemer. Right. But so like, why are we trying to pretend we're all the redeemer? You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
No, because when it's done well, and like, there's so many instances, I feel like communities ebb and flow. I see this a lot in my own church. For me, it's like, man, when like people are connected to the source, like the church is on fire, and like there's this like love in the air, right? Where it's like, man, you can feel it, and people feel it, and people feel more welcome than people. There's like this like, oh, okay, this place is really for me who needs help, who needs to know God more. And I'm feeling like I'm not worried about judgment. I'm not worried about you knowing all the bad things that I'm doing, because it's like, man, we're all in this together.
Right.
And
that takes a focus on that takes a real deep and committed focus to keeping your eyes on Christ and his calling versus falling into the default culture of where do we all stand, because there is a class system the way it works, right? And everybody wants to, we have this weird unspoken in our culture and among a bunch of other Eastern cultures, this weird unspoken pressure to appear perfect. We really do. And so when people are not, when we're going through real life struggles, if you're always showing up to this place where everybody has to pretend everything's perfect, and there's a risk that if you show vulnerability, you're going to be slammed or judged or looked down on, then you're not going to show up. And so it doesn't make sense then if we try to talk about those things, when people get defensive about like, well, then don't air our dirty laundry. Don't this. It's like, forget about, first of all, we should not care about people's opinions. Like we care about what God thinks about and our attention. And it's like, let's try to make this a good environment for people to, church is not supposed to be like, hey, we're all saints. It's more supposed to be like an AA meeting. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
That's what it's supposed to be. Hi, I'm Christian and I'm a sinner. Nice to meet you.
I think
hi, Christian.
A Christian.
Like
welcome.
that's
Hi,
right.
Christian.
Welcome. That's what church is supposed to be.
I think there's this, because I feel this sometimes as a person that, like that, hangs out with like youth and, serves youth. It's this weird of like, I don't want to condone this, but I also want you to know, like, I'm also human and I suck and I'm not perfect. And like, I'm also struggling with a bunch of things. So there's this weird, like, balance that you have to have. But I think actually the more transparent you are with like your shortcomings, the actual easier it is
Yeah.
for people to be like, man, like that guy who I had all these thoughts of like all these things. Oh, I look at him, he's great and he has a good life. And it's like, yo, actually, so he's struggling too?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, so this is a place for me.
Right.
Interesting.
There's a phrase that Dr. Mina Mirham, who I think you had on the show before, he said to me once, which I love. He said, a Christian is just a beggar telling another beggar where to find food.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? There's another, I don't know if this part
that.
is true, but I once heard that Gandhi said, I would have believed in Christianity if I ever actually saw a real Christian.
Yeah.
But to me, all that says is that he misunderstands what a Christian is.
Yeah.
A Christian is a sick person, a sinner, a broken person who is now saying they're not going to carry this on their own.
Yeah.
They trust in Christ as their Redeemer and their Savior, right? But if our society of Christians always puts this pressure on us that we all have to appear perfect, then we're feeding Gandhi's misconception.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think it does make sense. And I think it takes a while to understand it takes a while to understand the need to separate between when you walk through those doors, there's a lot of things that come with it. There's a culture, there's thousands of years of heritage. There's a lot of things that have built up just within the local church that people are carrying. There are, families and things that come with everything that comes with that specific parish. Right. And then there's Christ and meeting Christ in the church.
Right.
Right. And then there are so many amazing aspects of the former, right? Which the place and the people and this and that. But it's also, if you are so focused on the place and the people and forget what you're really there for, sometimes you might not like it.
Right.
Right. It's going to be tough.
Right.
Because people fall short.
Right.
And it's really tough.
And that's the point. That's okay.
Yeah. And it's okay.
We can't be looking at each other like people who, that's what we talked about. You said judgment. I just think that our lens, we only stand to benefit when we're compassionate with each other.
Yeah. And that compassion is, it's infectious, right? Compassion is infectious. When people feel compassion, they're like, yo, that's different. That's a different feeling. I don't get that everywhere.
Right.
I don't get that in the world.
Right.
I don't get that at work. I don't get that, even in my own home. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
What's that like? And the compassion is just Christ.
Right. Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
But if you can actually hold on to that and feed it and give that, but it's hard. It's hard to keep that all the time. It's hard. It's because,
and that's okay.
We're humans.
And exactly. And that's okay that it's hard.
It's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And it is tough, for somebody to come into a church and not feel the compassion, not feel the love, and feel that hurt. And for you to be the reason they feel it. That sucks. I've been the person many times. I am the reason why this person didn't feel compassion.
I'm sure everybody, know it or not, everybody.
All of us.
We're all going to be perpetrators.
But it's hard because it actually does have a really negative consequence. And you might not even realize it now. You'll realize it 10, 20, 30 years. I remember checking on people hey, why don't I see you anymore? And I come to find out, well, I'm the reason I don't see you anymore because I suck, right? Or I said something, or I did something, or I whatever. So it sucks, but trying to understand what you're saying and be at the end of the day, we are human beings, and the reason why we're even working on any of this is to draw closer to that source. Right? And that source, the more we have it, the more we can share with other people.
Absolutely. I like that this talk show. I like the emphasis that you have on faith and success.
Yeah.
And success can be different ways.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be monetary.
Yeah.
It could be success in so many different aspects of life.
Yeah.
Finances, non-financial.
Absolutely. And I think the cool part is about your journey from what I've seen, the more you embraced who you are, right, and who God made you to be, the more I think you've actually been able to grow your platform, right? And the more of like, it's like you were doing other comedy or whatever you want to call it, secular comedy or whatever. And it's like, I feel like this is becoming more successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, but it's not necessarily just because of a market or trying to like put out a different clip and the way you format it, it's whatever. It's like, no, it's like meeting a need and doing it because like for the underlying reason of like of all the things that you talked about today.
Yeah, it's really what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, everything should, if you're a Christian, everything should point toward the Lord Jesus Christ and whatever he has commissioned us as Christians to do.
Yeah.
So I have it easy, I feel like, in some ways. Like being a physician is straightforward. Like, okay, it's just trying to heal people physically or emotionally or psychologically.
It's like,
yeah, exactly. And comedy is sort of the same. Comedy is for people who like it.
Be very healing.
It's healing, exactly. It could be thought-provoking, even if it annoys some people.
I go to comedy shows sometimes, like, I never thought of that. Like, there's some really smart comedians.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
They'll take a really hard problem and like, damn, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And many times it's weirdly edifying.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to open your heart to, if it's a good message, if it's not like, but yeah, that's what good comedy is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be holding up a mirror and saying, look what we all do and how ridiculous we all are. Yeah. And some people take it and they say, hey, don't show me that mirror. I don't want to look in the roof. And shame on you for holding that mirror up. Who called you to do this anyway? It's like, all right, I don't know. This is just, I'm a comedian. This came out of me. It was born out of me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Other people they're like, yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
And you must do that too.
Yeah.
Because you knew to say that. Yeah. And that's what a good comedian is supposed to say too. Like, yeah, we all do this.
Yeah.
We do this. And so we can grow from this. And comedy evolves too that way, you know, a new set of problems and whatever else. So, but in the way of purpose and identity, as long as for me all of this is pointing toward the ultimate thing, then that's success. You know what I mean? Regardless of size, even if I remain a small crater my whole life, even if, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're talking to just one person, you know, content creation is you're talking to groups of people all at once.
Yeah.
So thousands of people can see you in a night.
Yeah.
From your house.
Yeah.
But as long as, you know, you're making connections and you're contributing.
Yeah.
To people to the right and to the left, and you're having compassion on them and telling them that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And relating to them. Yeah. Then that's success, I think.
I just want to say thank you so much.
Dude, thank you.
Allowing me to come into your home. And
this is your home.
Take it over.
Please.
Take it over. And big thanks to Irene for helping us get all of this set up and all the things.
She is amazing.
On the back end. That's his wife.
That's right.
And yeah, it's such a blessing to have you on the call.